What's up, Ohio? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Broulis Beat Report. I am your host, Nick Broulis. The Broulis Beat Report is brought to you, as always, by Cafe 80s. If you love 80s music, you will definitely want to check out a Cafe 80s show. There's 3 ways to follow Cafe 80s and find out where they'll be playing at a venue near you. You can go to their website, thecafe80s.net. Follow them on Facebook. Just simply type in Cafe 80s. Or you can also download that Bands in Town app and just type in Cafe 80s. Click on their little icon there, and you'll actually get email notifications sent to you letting you know when they will be in the area near you. Trust me, I would know this. I still get emails about all this, letting them know that they're going to be coming at a venue near me. Well, before I get going on the sports side of things, I wanted to hit on a little bit of a personal note here. I wanted to acknowledge a volunteer at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a place that I go to quite frequently. And there's a volunteer by the name of Gus, and I wanted to send my condolences to his entire family. I had known Gus as a friend, working at the Hall of Fame as a volunteer for about 2 years, and he had been battling some medical issues and found out this morning that he just recently passed away. I was going into the team shop just to look for some stuff, and like I said, some of the people there know me on a first name basis, and they let me know that he passed away this morning, so I wanted to send out some condolences to him and his family. Gus will be very missed by a lot of people. He was a very genuine man, great personality, loved talking to people, loved helping guests like me that come in, helping them out, things like that. So I just wanted to let that be known. Gus, you will be missed, and thank you for the few years of friendship that I had with you, but just want to let you know you will be missed. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, I wanted to start off with the Cleveland Indians, and let's do a quick recap here as they won today 6-2 over the Marlins. They split the home series with Miami. They lost the first game yesterday 3-1, and then won today 6-2. They are currently en route to Houston right now, as they will start a quick road trip. They will have 4 in Houston, which the Sunday night game will be on Sunday Night Baseball. And then they will go down to Miami for a quick 2-game series, once again with the Miami Marlins. And then after that, they will come home to start a home series. 4 of those games will be, I should say, the start of that home series will be against Seattle. Now, I wanted to run down some stats for the Cleveland Indians, because I was just talking to some people earlier today, and I have to bring it up, because the last Broulis Beat Report, I was talking to you constantly about the pitching and the hitting and all that stuff, but I just want to run down the hitting for right now. And also, before I forget, you would please feel free to follow me on Twitter at Broulis Report. That's B as in boy, R-O-U-L-I-S Report. Now, I'm going to run down some players, and I'm just going to give you some of their stats, okay? Francisco Lindor, he just came back. I do not expect him to have that good of an average yet. Right now, he's at 222. Leonis Martin, center fielder, he's at a 256 average, okay? I would like to see it a little bit higher than that. A little bit, all right? Jose Ramirez, only 184, but he did have a home run, and I believe an RBI today, maybe 2. I didn't look at the stats completely. Oh, well, I'm looking right at it, so I might as well. He went 1 for 3, 4 RBIs, a walk, and a strikeout today. But, again, I believe he hit a home run, and he's at 184 for a batting average. That's got to come up. I mean, I know he usually has a tendency to have some slow starts to start out the season. It's got to get up, and it's got to get up hopefully here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's got to come up. Carlos Santana, 338 average. Again, I talked about this in the last Broulis Beat Report. He's using all portions of the field this time. We're not used to this. We're used to him being a pull hitter. A friend of mine told me, you know what? maybe a year of being in the National League last year with the Phillies maybe helped him. Hopefully that's the case. Next up, Carlos Gonzalez, 259 average. He hasn't been playing with this current team too long, so again, not bad for a guy that's been up here for a short time. Jason Kipnis, again, he hasn't been playing that long, but 308 average. We'll take that, especially from Kipnis. Kevin Plawecki, my gosh, the 200 average, that's got to come up. It's got to come up, all right? Jake Bauers, in that trade for Yandy Diaz with the Tampa Bay Rays, 211 average. He has got to do a lot more. I talked to a friend of mine just about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, and they talked about how concerned they were with the trade. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I want to wait about another month or two to see how he's doing. But Jake Bauers, 211 average, it's got to come up. Mike Freeman, don't expect anything out of him, 182 average. And Moroff, 129 average. I don't expect anything out of him. But my point is, okay, we're expecting Francisco Lindor to get going here sometime soon. I'm anticipating probably the end of this month, maybe early next month is when he'll really get things going. And again, Jose Ramirez, he has got to get that average a lot higher. He just has to. So this team has one of the worst offenses in baseball. Thankfully, the pitching staff has done well for them. But even the pitching staff has taken some hits, both from a starting rotation standpoint and, you know, the bullpen has had some shaky outings lately. They've got to do better. The hitting has got to come alive. So, again, once some of these guys start playing, you know, day after day for three or four weeks, those guys that have just been recently added onto the roster, that's when I expect things to get going. Again, Jose Ramirez, I cannot stress this enough. He has got to start hitting the ball. Excuse me. Let's move on to the Cleveland Browns. It's weird to say this, but I have not hardly thought about the NFL draft, which is this Thursday night. And how refreshing is it if you are a Cleveland Browns fan that we have not had to think or talk about the draft for 4 months? Why? Because it seems like we finally got our franchise quarterback. We got a really good defensive end in Myles Garrett, and obviously with the Odell Beckham trade, and we picked up Landry in a trade last year. Things are looking up if you are a Cleveland Browns fan. Have not been able to say that in a long, long time. So, do I expect the Cleveland Browns to move back up into the first round? Because as you know, they traded away their 17th pick away to the Giants, along with Jabril Peppers and Kevin Zeitler, to the New York Giants for what amounted to be Odell Beckham Jr. and Olivier Vernon. Okay, so for our 17th pick, we got Odell Beckham Jr. in his prime, right? We'll take it, okay? So I don't think that the Cleveland Browns are going to move up in the first round. They're going to stay pat. The only way I see that happening is if they make a trade for somebody up to the first round. They get that spot in the first round, but they can also maybe add a draft pick or two somehow, some way in the future, or maybe this year. But I don't see the Browns trading back into the first round. But I will say this. And again, I talked about this on the last beat report, is I'm not going to be shocked if the Browns do make a trade at some point, and that trade involves Duke Johnson. I'm not saying that I like it. And again, I said it in the last report that the Browns have not utilized Duke Johnson correctly for about 3 years now. It's hard to believe Hugh Jackson actually used him the right way. I mean, it really is. It's hard to believe. But I see Duke Johnson somehow, some way being involved in a trade. And I don't doubt the Browns taking another running back in this draft, but not as high as what they did with Nick Chubb. So that's with that. Now, I am here to tell you, I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to draft Kyler Murray, the quarterback, out of Oklahoma. But anything goes, as we know. Now, let me talk to you about something that I found on NFL.com by NFL writer Greg Rosenthal. He ranked the GMs, and I'm, of course, not going to give you all 32 GMs. I will, however, give you the top 10. So from these names, you will be able to figure out who did not make it on this list. Or I should say in the top 10. Now, let me start out from 10 down. Number 10, Tom Telesco, Chargers. He was at 6 last time he did this, which I'm guessing was last year. Now he dropped down to 10. Mickey Loomis comes in at number 9 for the Saints. Chris Ballard comes in at number 8 for the Colts. Les Snead for the Rams comes in at number 7. John Snyder for the Seahawks comes in at number 6. Number 5, Thomas Dimitroff for the Falcons. Number 4, John Dorsey, Cleveland Browns. He was at number 13. Let me read you the quick little summary he gives on John Dorsey. This is from Greg Rosenthal of NFL.com. After drafting Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, and then trading for Odell Beckham Jr., Dorsey has to be feeling like a god among men. While former GM Sashi Brown deserves some love for leaving so many picks behind, before I go on, let me add something in here. While I do acknowledge the fact that Brown, before he was fired, did leave John Dorsey with a lot of draft capital, I still say, in no way, shape, or form did you have to gut this roster like what he did to go 0-16 and the season before that go 1-15. You could have won a game or two in both of those seasons. I'm still disappointed in that. So let me continue to go on. Dorsey's 2018 draft and 2019 free agency moves have been a master class in the instant rebuild. Following his quick turnaround of the Chiefs with Andy Reid, Dorsey's track record is spotless. In a year-to-year league, a long-term overhaul is overrated. Now, let me tell you who made it at number 3. Kevin Colbert of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who fell from 1 to 3. Let me read this one to you real quick. This is a crucial year for Colbert, like it is for his franchise quarterback, to prove that his best days are not behind him. With Colbert serving as the Steelers' decision maker since 2000, only Bill Belichick has piloted more consistent success for an NFL team this century. With Pittsburgh suffering only one losing season during his tenure, never a big spender in free agency, Colbert needs more drafts like his 2017 haul, T.J. Watt, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Conner, to keep replenishing the team's talent base. Despite using a lot of picks at the position, Colbert has never quite been able to find defensive backs that work in Mike Tomlin's scheme, which is very true. And if you remember, they brought in one of the Cleveland's first former, Justin Gilbert. They traded for Justin Gilbert, and it didn't make any difference. He still stunk in Pittsburgh, just like what he did in Cleveland. And to finish out the list, Howie Roseman for the Eagles, and as you probably might expect, Bill Belichick for the New England Patriots. So, here's the thing. Again, I'm going to go back to the Duke Johnson situation. I really like Duke Johnson, but if they're not going to be able to utilize him, and especially once Week 8 hits and the Kareem Hunt suspension is lifted, how are they really going to use Duke Johnson? I still think they can use him in passing situations, but if you're going to trade him, you might as well do it sometime this week. Draft a running back. You still have Dontrell Hilliard, and I'm not saying that he's a good running back because you didn't see him enough this past season to know, but you can get some value out of Duke Johnson. I heard a guy on NFL Network say that some of the GMs that he's talked to said that they still, even though he's as good of a player as he is, they would not give any higher than a round 3 pick for Duke Johnson. Of course, he didn't mention any names or teams or anything like that, but it's just a fact. If you're going to trade him, you might as well do it now. That way, the running backs that you do have, you can use them more often. That way, you can have some depth in the backfield for when the season starts. Now, I will say this. John Dorsey really got on my good side with the first move he ever made, and it was by letting go of Josh Gordon when they let him go. And then Kenny Britt. That was the first move he made when he came into Cleveland. He let go of Kenny Britt, and I'm telling you what, I don't know a Browns fan alive that wasn't ecstatic about that. So we're going to see this draft should still be somewhat interesting. I mean, regardless of whether you're a Browns fan or not, it should be relatively interesting, especially to see what the New York Giants do with their picks, because I believe they have the 7th and the 17th pick in the first round, see where they go. But again, you have to be impressed with what John Dorsey has done so far, and depending on what the team does this upcoming season, he can move up to, number 2, possibly. We don't know. But I want to thank all of you for watching here on the Broulis Beat Report. My name is Nick Broulis. Appreciate you guys checking everything out. And until next time, have a good one, everybody.